I'll take you through a framework that in hindsight I use to make quite a bit of money and more importantly meet a lot of cool people. Let's start at the top of the funnel for this framework, which is opportunities. And by the way, this video is going to take maximum like 10 minutes. Do not skip, just watch the entire thing. Invest in yourself. This could really help you. So let's start with here at zero opportunities. This is where I felt like I started. Some people start here and other people start here or born there. So, in all honesty, I was born in a second world country. I grew up in a first world country. My parents are from a third world country. I probably from middle school up experienced a upper middle class life. So, I had access to private school education. I didn't have to work multiple jobs to support my family. So really, probably from middle high school, I was here. But I lived in a small mining town in Australia, and I'm not interested in mining. A lot of the opportunities are sort of mining and sort of doing trades. For me personally, I was interested in technology and in investing, and that felt like a world away in Silicon Valley. So I felt like I started here, and if you're watching this video, you're probably here too, and you're probably frustrated like I was. And everyone that you speak to or you watch videos on about the situation, they always say create opportunities, and that's the best way to get out of it. And that's kind of like a BS thing to say. I have it on here because you do need to create opportunities for yourself, but it's like how to do that, because it's so hard to sort of manifest that and to actually put it in action. So the number one thing that you have to do is put yourself out there, which also sounds like some sort of cliche thing, but to really put yourself out there, you're probably already doing it in some number of ways. I was at here when I was in high school / uni, and the way that most of you guys are probably putting yourself out there now is you're applying to jobs. And when you apply to jobs, you are literally showing someone your skill sets and what you want to do, and you're explaining yourself and your character. But the only problem with that is you're only doing that to a few people, like hiring managers or recruiting managers, and you want to do that, you want to scale that, right? And so the way I did it, the hack I did was I just put myself out there on social media to the people in the places where the people I cared about were hanging out in. And so, like I said earlier, I was interested in technology and investing, and a lot of those people, they're not celebrities so much. They've got a couple thousand followers, or these days some of them can be pretty famous, but they were hanging out on Twitter. And so I went on Twitter and started posting a bunch of stuff and sort of annoying them and following them and liking, engaging with their stuff. And eventually, sort of my profile picture, my face, and my name is always on their sort of timeline and newsfeed, or they're always getting a notification on their phone, and they would see it enough times where they'd go okay, I need to give this guy an opportunity, or I need to see what this guy's about. And so this is how I got my first job ever, was just through Twitter and annoying people. So that is one way you can sort of put yourself out there at scale. And then once you do that, once you put yourself out there in a number of ways, you start to get opportunities. And when I say here, take every bet, it's not because you're drowning in bets. It's probably the opposite. You're probably going to get one opportunity every couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months. It's a pretty lonely thing and discouraging activity. But once you do get an opportunity, you just have to take it. Don't whine and cry about how it's not the thing you want to do. It's the only shot you have. And if it's remotely close to what you're interested in, just take it. And so, why would anyone give you this opportunity? Is because you've got all the time in the world. You've got nothing better to do. And that's your advantage here while you're in this this feels like a build a character sort of game, but where you choose your skills and stuff like that. But that's what you got. You've got time. And so that's really what helped me get out of that stage of having no opportunities. And this should relatively work for anyone. I gave you my real world example, but for someone that's maybe interested in, they want to become a filmmaker, right? Right now you can create short films on your phone and then upload them to TikTok, and then upload enough, be consistent, that one of them might take off and go viral. You can do things yourself to sort of help make it go viral and do the extra work there. But once you do that, as the more people see it, maybe someone that is a filmmaker, like an experienced filmmaker, or someone that works at a production studio, or someone that knows someone that works at a production studio, or blah 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 blah, then they reach out to you, take a bet on you because you've sort of put yourself out there and showcase your skills, or you literally say in the TikTok, I will do anything on a film set. I will be a janitor. I have nothing else to do. And so you're sort of showcasing that you've got time, and people resonate with that. And, some people just want to give a hustler an opportunity, and, that can happen in all forms of whatever you're interested in. For me, it's technology. For you, it might be filmmaking. Okay, so that's that done. That's like that's probably where you're at right now. And now that you've leveled up your character, which is you have a few opportunities coming your way now. And if it's not coming your way, if you're searching for opportunities, you're probably more qualified now, right? So you can be a bit more selective. You don't have to take every single bet anymore. And usually the mistake I see people making when they get to this stage is that they try to get the highest paying job, right? They'll go for the job that pays 80K over 65K. And that's the wrong thing to do. You don't want to do that. You want to optimize for 3 things here. I know I don't have them listed here as 3 things, but these are the 3 things. A, you want to optimize for working and being around cool and interesting people. B, you want to optimize around being exposed to meeting cool and interesting people. So these aren't the people you work with. This is just the people that you meet as a result of doing the sort of opportunity or job that you're in. And then C, you want to optimize for learning and building a skill set and gaining insight into specialist things. So if you do that, you start building a resume, but not a resume around, I worked at this cool company, but a resume around a particular outcome, such as I grew this company by X amount, or I made this company X amount of dollars, or I hired these people, I did this. Like you're starting to build a resume around real shit, rather than what most people will have is like just like a uni kid resume, which is like, I interned at this place and I worked at this consulting company, or I worked at this investment bank, because no one really cares anymore about that. And especially the cool people that you want to work for, they just care about if you actually can get shit done. And so when you start, optimizing for this and not this, you start building a lot of this. And yeah, that's like, the advantage you have during this time is you still have the time. You have a less time now than here, but now with this combined with this, because you're building the skills, you become a pretty deadly, lethal weapon. And definitely when I possessed both of this, because I did all these things, I started being pretty valuable to people, and people started, paying me a lot of money compared to what an average person my age would make, because they optimize for money first. And so pure examples of all of this, real examples are, when I was in uni, I could have went and got, an $80,000 a year consulting job in sort of where I was living. And instead, I ended up working for cool people, but it paid like peanuts, right? I'm pretty sure my first salary, so that was $80,000 was like what I could have been making, and I ended up taking the job that paid me $30,000. So yeah, take that as you will. So because I did that, I built a resume. I ended up working for these people, particularly some D2C companies where, they made millions of dollars and they grew a lot, and I was, a significant part of that, helping that. So, I got to say, when I started, going to my next thing, or when I introduced myself, like, hey, I grew this by X amount, which is a lot more impressive than I worked here. And so, yeah, and then, because of all that, I grew sort of a lot of skills in cool places, and I had some time, and so became a lethal weapon that was offered multiple, like, 6-figure job offers. Okay, we're almost done. We're now here as a result of this and this. You now have resources, you've made a bunch of money doing really cool things, and you have insight because you worked with interesting people doing interesting things. And so now is the time where you sort of hunker down and you only take a very few bets, if not one bet that you have utter conviction in. And asymmetric means unlimited upside. There's no cap here, and even if everything is, you think of everything in probabilities, and we'll go into this in the last segment, but even if something has like a 5% chance of working out, if the upside of it is incredible, something that you've always dreamed of, happening, whether it's, meeting your future wife or making millions of dollars or whatever it is, you've got to take it. Like you just need to take it. It is the plus EV thing to do. And so, to do this, to take these asymmetric bets, you need to have what people call a reality distortion field. I don't know if Steve Jobs coined it. I forgot who coined it. Maybe someone before him. But you need to just feel like that in this timeline that you're living in, you taking this bet is going to work out. There is, even if it's like a 5% probability, you just need to be so like utterly delusional that you're willing to put everything into it, and you're willing to put all your time and effort and resources, and you're going to do everything to rig the odds in your favor. And because I think without it, you wouldn't have the courage to take these bets, because it's a very like daunting thing to do something that not everyone is doing, and it might be contrarian, and to make millions of dollars or to do X grand big thing, it's probably a hard thing because a lot of people can't do it, right? And for the most part, I think a lot of people can do it. It's just that they don't have the balls to do it. And so you need to be delusional. And to get these, once you got this, and you need to take these bets, if you don't have enough of these bets, you really need to leverage your network. You need to, the people that you've met in the past, you need to reach out to again, or you need to put yourself out there more, and you need to repeat this. You need to repeat this, but now it's on a grander scale because you've done this, and people will take you seriously now and take that meeting, and so on and so forth. So really, this is like a nice little circle of things. I don't know. That's now multiple circles, but really they all play in and work together, and you'll be repeating some of the stuff that you've done before. But this is now like the big dream. And for me, this was, I had a bunch of money because I did all this stuff. I had a bunch of niche knowledge because I worked with people and in a related field. In my particular case, it was like crypto and NFTs. And I was like, what is the one bet I can make that will be huge? And for me, it was Animoca, but for other people, it's all going to look different. You can't replicate what I did. I can't replicate what you did. And so, yeah, I utilized all this. I had so much delusion that this was going to work. I literally put everything I had into it. And it easily couldn't have worked out. And you know what I would have done? I just would have went back to here. That's all that would have happened. I would have went back here and I would have tried again, right? And so if there's one thing that you should take away from this video, I'd say it's to always take bets, asymmetric bets, or just bets in general. It doesn't matter if they're not asymmetric at all. You need to get in the habit of just making decisions and taking action, and being action orientated, because, well, there's an example I have here. There's this book called Thinking in Bets by Annie Duke. I'm not going to talk about the book, but it's a really good book about how every decision in life has inherent risk, and which essentially means that life's a gamble. Every single decision you make, you're gambling. There's some percentage that it's not going to work out. There's some percentage that it will, and you're in it to win it. And so here's a graph that may not make sense to anyone that knows how to construct graphs, but this is just a good way to visually explain it. As sort of life goes on, you're building up your skills and your insight, your network. Those things don't really regress in most cases, unless, you get hit by some, god awful, condition. But, for the most cases, you're fine. You're going to keep getting better at a certain thing that you're doing. You're going to keep meeting new people, and you're just going to retain knowledge that you have and build upon it. And so as that's going along, timing is pretty important. Some people are too early, some people are too late, but you want to be in it to take advantage of the luck that you could have and make decisions where your luck is at the highest. And you're not going to know during the time that, hey, my luck's high right now, so I should swoop in and snipe and make this decision. Which means that's why you need to just constantly make decisions and constantly make bets to take advantage of that, because it is, in the short term, it'll look like wild fluctuations where you're a genius and you're an idiot. But over the long term, all these decisions will average out because you keep getting better at all these three things. And so the quality of your decisions will just keep getting better and better. And so, yeah, the habit is just to keep making bets. As you get more resources, as you get more insight, take asymmetric bets, and hopefully things will work out for you. That's it.